Hi everyone, welcome to another video. Today is super exciting because we are wrapping up with my original character series, and this is the last video of this series. So it is super exciting to have spent I don't know how many months working on this series and to finally come to a close and kind of wrap everything up, especially with the timing of me transitioning from a medical student to starting my new job at my residency program. So I feel like it's just been very satisfying to have been able to go through all of my characters and to kind of close during this time as I move on to the next chapter of my life. So today I will be talking about my character Iraya. She is my most recently acquired OC, and she was actually gifted to me from my dear friend Chrissy, also known as Tiara Meow Sue, here on YouTube. We have done a few collabs together and put our collab videos up on YouTube, and this was actually from our most recent collab, which we decided to loosely base off of the Create an OC meme that had been going around on Twitter a while back. But basically, with this meme, it's kind of like we created a list of characteristics and traits that we wanted in a new character, and then we gave that list to the other person, and that other person kind of took the creative license to create their own design for a character, using those traits as kind of like a template and then gifting that character to the other person. So basically I had given Chrissy a list of traits and characteristics for a new OC, and then she ended up designing Iraya and gifting her to me. So I will put a link to Chrissy's video down below in the description, as well as on the upper right hand corner of the screen if you guys want to check that out, especially because she goes through the process of creating Iraya and just kind of her thought process and kind of the things that inspired her with coming up with this character design. So because Iraya is very new and I've only had her for a few months, and then on top of that I've just been super crazy busy with moving out, graduating from med school, and just a lot of paperwork and onboarding stuff and orientation with setting things up for my new job. So with all of those things going on, I haven't been able to really think about anything for Iraya in terms of like background or like what universe I want her to exist in, if I want her to have her own story, or if I want to add her as a character in one of my existing worlds for my other OCs. So she is very, very new, and there's really, unfortunately, not a lot to talk about her character, but I'm hoping that sometime in the future I will be able to develop her and her character and backstory a lot more. So with Iraya, basically everything that I'm saying right now is what Chrissy had in mind when she had created this character. So if you've already seen Chrissy's video, I apologize that some of this is probably going to be really repetitive. But basically, Iraya is a volcanic magma spirit. So she actually lives near the volcanoes and is actually very isolated from the rest of society, mostly because she has this ability to wield fire and magma, but a lot of it is kind of like beyond her control. So she really loves flowers and nature and just the beauty of I guess the environment. But because she is a fire spirit in nature, she unfortunately kind of destroys anything that she touches, kind of like incinerates any flowers or wildlife or anything. And so with her design, you might notice that she kind of has like a flame crown around her head, which is in lieu of a flower crown because she unfortunately isn't able to physically touch flowers, and she kind of isolates herself to the volcanic region just because she doesn't want to harm anything or anyone. And I believe Chrissy had also come up with this idea that Iraya would create these little like magma spirits to kind of keep her company because she's so isolated and alone, and they would be similar to, I think, like the forest spirits in the Studio Ghibli movie Princess Mononoke, if I remember correctly. It's been a few months, so everything is kind of like off the top of my head, and I'm not really reviewing any of the footage from Chrissy's video before I talk about this. But that's pretty much Iraya in a nutshell. Her name was actually based off a volcano in the Philippines, I believe. Chrissy had come up with that name, so I think Iraya is a name of a volcano in the Philippines. And it's actually funny because her name is pronounced very similarly to one of my other original characters, Rain, in terms of his last name, because his last name is Iraya with an A. And then with this Iraya, it's basically the exact same spelling, but then it just starts with an I. So I thought it was just really amusing, especially because Chrissy wasn't aware of Rain's last name. I don't think I've ever mentioned it. And so it was just really amusing that it was like, oh, she has nearly the same pronunciation and name as Rain's last name. So I thought that was really cute. But yeah, so that's pretty much everything regarding Iraya. Again, I really don't know what context I'm gonna put her in, like if I want her in an existing world and coexisting with my other OCs, or if I want to come up with her own story and background. I'm thinking probably the former, mostly because I am very bad at like creating worlds for characters that I didn't create from scratch myself. And I kind of delved into this issue when I was talking about Darius and Lushu, who are my two closed species characters. So I think I will probably most likely add Iraya as kind of an additional character for another world. Like, I'm thinking she's either going to exist in the same universe as Denzel and Rain, or in the same universe as Aru and Keo. So we'll see, but hopefully I will be able to kind of put more thought into her character sometime in the future so that she gets more love and everything, because I feel really bad that she's been gifted to me and I just really haven't done much with her, but hopefully that will change in the near future. So that's pretty much everything with Iraya. Again, she is a minor character, so I don't have a lot to share about regarding her and her like backstory and personality and stuff. So I guess at this point, because this is my last video, not just for the series, but probably for a while, since I am starting work, I guess I could use the rest of this time for this video, just sharing some updates with you guys. I know I've already talked about kind of the direction that this channel is going to be going, and I had mentioned that in the past few videos, I believe, but basically because I am starting work in a few days, actually in like 2 days, things are definitely going to change in terms of the frequency of my video uploads. So today is June 29th. Hopefully I will be able to get this out either later today or end of the month. But I start work on July 1st, and it is both exciting and terrifying at the same time, especially because I know nothing going into being a resident, which is totally expected, but at the same time it's like you go from being a medical student having very little autonomy and responsibility over patients, and you're just learning, and then transitioning to being a resident where on day one, like, you're expected to function like a doctor, so putting in orders, putting in patient notes, and knowing the ins and outs of billing and all of that, and responding to pagers and everything. So it's a huge transition. So it's exciting because it's like, oh, I'm finally gonna have the autonomy of being a doctor and taking care of patients, but at the same time it's like, wow, I am not prepared for this. But I mean, a lot of it you do learn on the spot, and I really like the chief residents and just my co-interns, so I'm hoping that it's just going to be a really good time. But as I mentioned in my previous video, because of my job, I am contracted to work max 80 hours per week, which is very standard here in the US in terms of being a resident physician. And on average, you get 1 day off per week, averaged over a month. So that could mean you work 2 weeks straight and then get 2 days off, and then that still is within the policy guidelines because it's on average 1 day off per week. So with this upcoming month, it actually looked pretty doable for me to put out at least a video. However, my schedule has been finalized and we'll see. I had mentioned in my previous video that I will be kind of taking things day by day and seeing how I feel about both work, and then when I come home, like, am I in the right mindset to be creating content, or do I just want to come home and relax and de-stress without having to come up with a setup for putting up a new video? So it's going to be a day by day thing. As I'd mentioned, I thought my first month was going to be fairly light, especially because I'm doing specialty outpatient and I'm doing night float, which is basically kind of like 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. and doing like that overnight shift. And I actually am on backup for the first 2 weeks, and usually with how my schedule was set up, the first 2 weeks would have been really chill. Like, I would have had my weekends off, and it would have been perfectly fine to be able to relax and then also have time to put out new content. But because I'm on backup, and I am on backup on the weekends, I really don't know how that's gonna look. Basically, being on backup means that if any of my co-interns call in sick for any reason, then I have to go in their place and basically just work on their behalf. So I could be on any service in the hospital, depending on who the person is that kind of called in sick, was working with. And with backup, basically, the days that I'm assigned, I have to be available for 24 hours. So if they call me at 3 in the morning, then I have to go in within an hour to work on my colleagues' behalf. So with backup, as I mentioned, I originally thought I was going to have free weekends, but because I am on backup both on Saturday and Sunday, I'm just going to be in that mindset the entire day of, okay, I need to be prepared in case something happens and I need to go to the hospital. And so I don't want to like start filming something and then my pager goes off and I have to leave. So we'll see how things go. I really appreciate your guys' patience. I've been trying to be as transparent as possible with you guys just so you know what's going on, especially because it would not be fair for you guys for me to just kind of disappear, especially because I think I've been consistently uploading on a weekly basis, and then for me to suddenly go to maybe one video a month or even less, I think it's really unfair if I don't kind of put it out there and be upfront with you guys and let you guys know what's been going on. So hopefully you guys can understand. I absolutely love making content, but again, work comes first as well as my mental and emotional well-being. But I will definitely do my best. I still want to put out new content, especially because we are closing off this original character series, and I'm just really excited to be able to move forward and kind of start making, I guess, brand new content. So if you guys have any recommendations or suggestions of what you'd like to see in upcoming videos, feel free to comment down below, and I will do my best and do what is feasible. I am hoping to be able to do a sketchbook tour sometime soon. It's funny because I think a few weeks ago I was looking at my ELO sketchbook and I was like, wow, I only have like 13, 14 pages left and 3 weeks. Like I can definitely finish this sketchbook. And things just got really busy with onboarding requirements and like online modules that they kind of gave us in that last like week leading up to orientation. So I haven't been able to draw as much, but I'm really close to finishing the sketchbook, and I'm super excited because it will be my very first sketchbook that I've ever completed, and I just can't wait to finish it and be able to show it to you guys because it's a huge milestone for me, especially because I think I've mentioned in a previous video that I have this terrible habit of hoarding a lot of sketchbooks and then starting them and maybe doing the first few pages and then getting bored and then moving on to a new sketchbook just because I found a new sketchbook and I was like, I want to buy this. So for me, it's a huge thing to finally be done, to finally almost be done with a sketchbook. So that's definitely something that will be happening sometime in the future. But again, if you guys have anything that you want to see, definitely let me know down below. And with that, we are near the end of our video, so thank you again guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video and have overall really enjoyed the series. I had so much fun getting to talk about all of my characters and be able to share them with you guys, and I hope that you guys felt the same way. Definitely let me know down below in the comments who your favorite character or characters are, since I'm always super curious and I love hearing from you guys, so there's that. I know that at least here in the US, a lot of places are starting to reopen, but friendly reminder that the pandemic is still going on and it's not going to go away just because you are sick of it. So please continue to practice social distancing and wearing a mask when you are out and about, and just overall minimizing the amount of trips you make outside of your house as much as possible. And I hope that everything is going well for you guys, that you guys are staying safe. Black Lives Matter, they always matter, and I hope to be able to talk with you guys very soon. But until then, you guys are loved, and I will see you in the next video.